What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Sacred Sunday Show. And I should actually say good evening, because a lot of you are all over the world, including my co-host, Jennifer, who's coming to us from Portugal. So welcome, everybody. I want to say a big thank you to John and Summer Raymer, who put us out over 100 Facebook groups and pages through the Sign Network. So if you're watching us on Facebook, welcome. And also want to thank Alan Steinfeld and New Realities TV. A lot of people watch us on that YouTube channel. And if you are watching us on Facebook or on YouTube, I want to invite you to come on into our Zoom room. We have an amazing group of really wise and really fun people to connect with. And it's easier to connect, to chat with you, to even take your thoughts, comments, and questions if you're in the Zoom room with us. And it's really easy to do that. Just go to globalpeacetribe.com, globalpeacetribe.com, and register. It's free. When you click register, you'll see a little promo code area, and put it in the promo code new friend. And you'll be able to get all the links to all of our shows. We do 3 shows every weekend, Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday morning, in which we take a topic and we explore it as it relates to our awakening world. So sometimes we're talking about the environment, sometimes we're talking about relationships, and this weekend we've been having a wonderful series of conversations all about listening to our soul. So do come on in and join us. And wherever you're watching, whether you're in our Zoom room or on Unify or on Facebook, let us know where you are geographically. It's really fun to see people from all over the world. And I'm looking in our Zoom room, I see a lot of our regular friends are with us from everywhere from Santa Rosa to British Columbia. On Unify, I see we've got people from Europe and Australia already. So definitely do let us know that. Okay, I am so excited that I get to share with you this wonderful group of people, all of whom have come on board because of Jennifer K. Hill. She is such a wonderful person to collaborate with. Jennifer, thank you so much. I'm so grateful to you. And thank you for all the beautiful souls you've invited. And I'm just going to vamoose and let you introduce your friends. Welcome, everybody. We're going to have a great show.
Thank you, Scott, and thank you to each of you. I appreciate so many of you I see have been with us since Friday night. So hello to all of you out there, and it's such a pleasure to have you on this journey as we all explore listening to our souls. My intention for each of you is that maybe you walk away today with something of value. Maybe you hear your soul a little bit more clearly out of your participation and out of your listening in this weekend, or whenever it is that you happen to be streaming or watching the show. And we began on Friday night exploring. In case you missed it, you can go back and watch on Unify or get the replay links on our YouTube channels or other YouTube channels. And we began by exploring listening to our soul from the perspective of the inner child and many lifetimes, not just our soul in this lifetime, Jennifer Hill here now, but how our souls are really timeless and go forwards and backwards in time. So that was a really fun conversation with Dr. Carissa Luminaire, Lion Goodman, and Wendy Elwell on Friday. And yesterday, we all came together to explore our soul, not just our soul, but our collective soul as humanity. And we dove into the idea of the unitive narrative. How would life shift if we put on unitive colored glasses? And what if we saw one another and the world through unity consciousness? How might that shift our perspective? So today we're going to close out the weekend on this Sacred Sunday by talking to some of my favorite healers from around the world. I'm very grateful to be co-founder of a platform called om-heals.com, which matches energy medicine practitioners with users from around the world. And we're very fortunate to have almost 80 practitioners from around the world, 3 of whom are joining us today, and a dear new friend. So let me start with our new friend, Kimberly Meredith, who actually came referred to me by another friend of mine on the platform, Noah. And Kimberly, I am so grateful that the universe brought us together. She is a best-selling author. Her new book, Awakening to the Fifth Dimension, is amazing. I personally did not understand nor know much about the fifth dimension, so I voraciously read it and I'm almost finished with it. And it's just really incredible the work that Kimberly is doing. She has helped thousands and thousands of people as a medical intuitive from around the world, and has even had institutes like the IONS Resonant Institute verifying her abilities. So it's not just, oh, maybe I was healed, maybe I wasn't. It's actually verifiably scientifically. So Kimberly, it's such a pleasure to have you here. And I know you've been a guest on the Awakening World before. So thank you, my friend, for being here.
Thank you, Jennifer, for having me this morning. And just want to say good morning or good afternoon, wherever everybody is today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kimberly. And we're going to hear from Kimberly and from each of the healers in a moment. And before we do that, though, I want to introduce them one by one, and then we'll go into a brief meditation, a little musical inspiration, and then we'll dive into our Q&A per the usual. So next up is another dear, dear friend, soul sister, somebody who I met actually at all things of Jenny McCarthy's masquerade ball probably 15 years ago in Los Angeles, Shannon Leischner. Shannon is one of the top psychics and mediums in the entire world, sought after. People fly her places just to get readings from her, and she has transformed my life for the better. I'm lucky to call her a collaborator, a partner. She's a practitioner on Om Heals who gets booked all the time. And just recently, Shannon matched with someone on Om Heals and was so popular that people immediately wound up booking her over and over again and referring her to all of their clients. That's how desirable Shannon is. And as of course, Mercury's in retrograde, so we appreciate your patience as sometimes there might be little connectivity issues. So we'll be hearing from Shannon in a moment. And then another dear friend, I don't know how I'm so blessed and fortunate to know all of these incredible souls, but Haley Enright is another incredible soul here in Lisbon, Portugal. We first got to know one another. She came referred to me as the best acupuncturist in Lisbon, and people weren't kidding. And one of the things that she offers, though, is she offers Reiki while you get acupuncture in addition to distance Reiki. So Haley, I remember when we first started working together, I know you've been doing this since about 2009 in 3 countries. You started in Florida, you're now here, thank God, in Portugal, so I get to see you often. But I mean, the work Haley does, I was telling people before we started the show, I'll often go in for acupuncture and Haley will be like, Jen, do you want some Reiki? And I'll say, sure. And so she starts kind of moving energy around. And the next thing you know, I have straight up dropped right out of time and space. And so Haley is a magician. She's going to be talking about things today from the soul perspective, also coming from a Chinese medicine perspective. So Haley, I am so grateful to have you here and to be able to call you a friend.
Oh, likewise, Jen. Thanks so much for inviting me. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, I love you, my friend. So Up next, we have Vlad. So much love. And we have another friend actually here in Portugal as well, who ironically I met in Bali about 3 or 4 years ago now. It must be 4 years ago, Vlada. So Vlada de Souza, gosh, what can I say, Vlada? She has been putting on retreats around the world. As I mentioned, I met her at one in Bali that changed my life. It was in 2018, I believe I did it with her. And a few months later, I met my soulmate and fell into my life path and purpose. And so Vlada actually has a retreat coming up in Tuscany in a few weeks, which we'll talk about in a moment. And Vlada de Souza is just an overall beautiful spirit inside and out. She is all heart and all soul. And she is an incredible energy intuitive. She helped me to heal some deep issues within my family and does phenomenal work in addition to leading retreats and classes. So Vlada, I love you, my friend. I'm so grateful. And I'm happy that you're going to be the one who's going to take us into our morning meditation today so that we can kind of create this beautiful divine space for us to explore listening to our souls.
Thank you so much for introduction, Jennifer, and welcome everyone to the space. I hope that the session will bring us a lot of insights and inspiration in regards to how do we connect to our soul and listen to our soul. And it is a great pleasure to offer you a short guided meditation that actually I was just doing for myself today a few times and just connecting deeper and deeper to the essence. So it would be really, really beautiful to have us sit for a moment and let yourself kind of rest in your body, wherever you are, wherever you're sitting, or if you want, you can lie down if it's more comfortable. And when you're ready, you can just take a moment to close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. I invite you to breathe in to the depth of your heart. And with big, maybe even loud sigh outs, allow any tension, any doubt, any discomfort to be released effortlessly. So with each breath, you're coming into a little bit more stabilized sense of feeling of yourself from the inside. Take another deep breath. And see, sense, and feel how your whole body is grounding into the earth, as if you're seeing a grounding cord like a golden thread going from your physical body, from your energy field, all the way through the layers of the earth, and connecting deeply into the root center of the planet. And as you take a couple more breaths here, you may just let all your system, all your energy begin to ground in this present moment. Giving you a nice break from doing, thinking, processing, and plugging you into the grounded state of being. Take another breath and arrive to the space behind your eyes. And then walk your consciousness and your awareness into the center of your heart, chest area. And if you feel like you can place one hand on the top of your heart, on the top of your chest. And rest here for a few breaths, just in peaceful presence with you, only with you. And by arriving here, notice how your inner self or your soul vibrates today. Sometimes we have higher connection to our soul. Sometimes we feel disconnected from our soul. Just notice for yourself, how deeply are you connected today to your essence? And I invite you to experience for a moment your essence or your soul. Maybe just a nice sensation, maybe a tingling or warmth in your hearts. Maybe today you even could see or the color come in to show you what is the color of your essence, how your soul vibrates, what would be the color of the vibration of your soul today. And another few breaths. And you may stay with the sensation. You may stay with the color and connect deeply to that color or that feeling. Or you can take it further and let yourself see an image. How does your soul presents itself to you? How does it look like? It's almost your higher self presenting itself to you. So see if there is any image coming in. Deep breaths. And I invite you to intuitively bow to this gracious being within you, to this divine being, an expression of Source. Greet your soul. Welcome your soul to the space. And may you be really present, aligned, and connected to the core of you, to your essence, today and this moment, and throughout your whole life. Thank you so much for this short meditation, for joining me. And with a deep breath in, welcome to soften, release. And when you're ready, come back and open your eyes again. Thank you.
Here with my family, heaven is in my heart. I sing of the love I am, and know we're never apart. One heart, one love, one life we live. One heart, one love, one life we live. We can sing along. It's in the chat box. Here with my family, heaven is in my heart. I sing of the love I am, and know it never
Thank you so much, beloved friend Omashar. He is our house musician for the Global Peace Tribe and for the Awakening World. And what a beautiful meditation by Vlade. Thank you so much. And I want to encourage everybody, whether you're in our Zoom room or watching on Facebook, what did you experience? Did you see colors as she suggested? What did you experience during Vlade's beautiful meditation? Would love to see that in the chat box. And I'm going to turn it
That
back over.
inquiring minds want to know, my friend, what did you experience?
Oh, wow. Well, to be perfectly honest, I was listening to the meditation, but also admitting people into the Zoom room. So I was multitasking. And also just really mostly noticing just how beautiful everybody is, seeing just the beauty of everyone. So I found her voice and so resonant, but I didn't have a big inner experience. I was having more of an external experience of seeing our beautiful community connecting to Vlade in her meditation.
Thank you, my friend.
So I'm going to turn it over to you, Jennifer, for our first question.
Yes, thank you. So thank you so much, Vlada. I'll share what I experienced was so beautiful. I actually, when you talked about the higher self, first I saw the image purple when you saw the color, like that ultraviolet light. And then when you said the image that we were being shown, I was actually shown a baby, like a just perfectly born, clear, and just innocent baby. And when I asked my higher self what it was showing me, it just said, listen, you are pure, you are wholeness, you are love, and that is your essence, and don't ever forget it. And I was just so touched and moved by that, Vlada. So thank you. And thank you for all the people whose lives you touched from that meditation. We're hearing great feedback in the chat here.
I'm very grateful for opportunity, and I resonate with the image of a baby. To me, you have that innocence and playfulness. When I see your photos, especially from your birthdays,
I know if anybody follows me on Facebook, I often, every other year in lieu of a birthday party, I would normally throw a party for charity. So I'm often wearing angel wings or doing costume theme parties.
unicorn.
So yeah, unicorn onesie birthday party last year. Yes. So I am known
Yeah,
to throw parties like that. And I think that's the beautiful thing though,
beautiful.
Vlada, that you just showed us. Our souls all have different essences. Maybe our soul is playful. Maybe our soul is creative. Maybe it's wise. Maybe it's thoughtful. And how often do we actually take the time to just say, hi, soul, it's me. How are you doing? Right?
Yes, yes. It's about remembering. And when we will find that essence and really, really connect to it, that's what we are. And we just give permission to ourselves to live it. And that's it. So beautiful and simple.
Thank you, Vlada. Well, I appreciate you, my friend. Well, we're going to turn it over now to a couple of questions for each of you on the panel. And today is about you. It's about each of you. If you're streaming on Unify or one of the other channels, or if you're here with us live in the Zoom room, we invite you to pop your questions in the chat or put your questions in the comments. We want to get your questions about what does the soul sound like? How does it, what is it you want to know about the soul? So, Kimberly, let's go ahead and go over to you first, my friend. I would love to hear your perspective. I know that you are very intimately connected with your own soul, going through 2 near-death experiences that propelled you into these incredible abilities that you now have to heal people on the spot. Kimberly, can you tell us a little bit about how you discovered your soul and any advice you have? I know you give great wisdom in your book, Kimberly, about connecting to the 5th dimension. So maybe offering some wisdom on that.
Sure. I feel like connecting to 5th dimension is important right now because people are having more of their hearts open up to their own awakening. And but also the question about connecting to the soul. I think many people are awakening right now to their own path, their own healing abilities, their own essence of who they are. And a lot of people, I feel, need to understand that the reality and consciousness of us thinking that this is only one life and we only have one soul is not a true reality. We can have many lives in this lifetime, and we can have many times of being reborn. And so what I'm saying is that I had a near-death experience. I've had 2 near-death experiences, and I had my soul reborn and had my gifts reawakened. I was born with gifts, but they were pushed down. And then now I have these medical intuitive abilities and healing abilities. So many people are awakening now to their gifts. And they are also understanding that. How do they do that? How do they find out that they can have an enormous shift into this higher dimension, which is the 5th dimension, and leave a 3rd dimensional frequency behind, which is worry and fear, and understand that you can have an awakening and you can live many lives in this lifetime and not have to feel guilt and shame. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so much, Kimberly. And in fact, you just inspired me when you were talking about these ideas of worry, anxiety, guilt, shame. Right before we came on today, I'm very fortunate. I lead heart math classes, and I'm actually being trained in a higher level heart math class right now. If anybody wants information, please DM me on that. And there was part of the program that I was studying, it gave an example of a grassy field and our neuroplasticity as human beings. So stepping away from a moment from the more esoteric, but even in the practical sense, they said, imagine that you have this beautiful field and that every day you walk through that field. Well, that path is going to become very trodden, right? It's kind of like your soul's path. I'm going down this path. And then let's say one day that you decide to take a different path and that you decide to walk a different way through the field. Well, what's going to happen? Now that old path is going to start to get overgrown, and now you're going to create a new path. And the example that Heart Math was giving in this exercise was that is our brains, that is our capacity. And we might have old baselines of our soul, of our spirit, of our humanity that are involved in worry, anxiety, fear. And it's because that's the path we keep walking along. And what if, in a moment, as you talk about in your book, Kimberly, we can shift our mindset and we can choose, what if I wasn't reactive? What if I didn't get angry? What if I paused and connected to calmness? We're literally shifting into a different aspect of our soul in that moment as we make different choices. And in the physical realm, we're actually, as Heart Math would tell you, creating a new baseline. And it's a new path. The more we walk that path, the stronger that path creates. And that's how neuroplasticity works in our brains, which I thought was very fascinating.
That is correct, Jennifer. Also, one more thing before, because I know there's many people on the panel right now. I just want to say to everybody that the energy of the Holy One wants us to understand that no matter whether you are accepting the 5th dimension or not, it's already happening. So it's truly exciting, everybody that has all these special gifts that's on the panel today, and everybody that's listening. The more that you just let go and flow, the expecting of miracles is so cool, because it's very easy. It's super fun right now getting into the 5th dimension and beyond, because it's already happening. The awakening is here. So I wouldn't put so much pressure on yourself, and just understand that connecting to your soul's path is happening. So expect the miracles.
So beautiful, Kimberly. I love that. And I'm going to add a fun little exercise. Write down and ask the universe, how many miracles do you want to receive a day? Every single day I write down on my phone, and I actually write, how many miracles? And I accidentally wrote 19 one day. I meant to write 10, which was asking a lot. And then that day I actually received 19 miracles, and I asked for the wisdom to be able to recognize the miracles. So I think that's it. We all have, as Einstein said, you can either see nothing as a miracle or everything as a miracle. So what's the harm in seeing the miracles all around us? So such a beautiful point, Kimberly. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer.
I'm glad I can bring a giggle out of you on a Sunday morning. Well, I'd love to go over to Shannon Leischner. Shannon, a dear friend of mine who we've been having these conversations since we became friends probably 15 years ago. Let's see if Shannon is with us now. Perfect. There you are, my friend. And Shannon, I would love to hear, you are one of the queens of listening to the soul and talking about that. What is your wisdom on how we can connect to and listen to our souls?
Thank you anyway. Thank you for having me, by the way. I actually have discovered in the past 2 years and very recently that the best way for us to connect to our soul, or to really connect to our purpose here on this earth, is to really look inside and have that self-authenticity. A lot of us look on the outside and we look at that person is doing that, or they, whoever they are. When we begin to look outside of why things are happening in our path and in our lives, we don't really listen to what it is that we truly came here to do. And so when we truly connect into our soul and connect into our authenticity of what our decisions and our energy has led us to, and to the points in our lives where we are today, that's when we truly can grasp our greatness and truly can allow for our energy, our abilities, our whatever it is to come into this path and really have the limitless experience, because we are all limitless. And when we can remove those constraints, we really can tap into unlimited potential.
I totally agree with that. And we have a question from someone in the audience, Angela, I believe it is, who had a question about, are we able to physically heal aside from just the emotional healing? So sometimes people want to know, like, if you actually are having physical pain, say in your back or your joint or wherever it might be, is that something we can physically heal as well as the emotional body? Would love your 2 cents, and then we'll get some other feedback on that.
I say absolutely. But our emotions are our anchors to whatever it is that's going on. So if we have a physical pain in our leg, let's say, we need to really tap into what that emotion is. And a lot of the time when I'm doing sessions with somebody, I will go straight into that energy and begin to ask the leg, what's going on? And the energy will begin to tell me what the emotions are. And if they don't tell me, the person that I'm working with will begin to feel that emotion, and then we can heal from there. But all of our body parts represent something in our lives. So if let's say that we're having trouble with our legs, that talks about standing up for yourself. It talks about moving forward. It talks about support. There are so many areas of our lives that we think that everything is fine, but we're really suppressing what the true emotion is. And once we can release that emotion, which is absolutely releasable instantaneously, we can heal from it.
I love that, Shannon. It's ironic because I've had pain in my left leg and I'm like, oh, Shannon's tapping into me again. Did that ever happen where I remember there was actually another medium who I was on a call with one day, and I was interviewing her for a show, and I wasn't planning to get a reading. And she said, oh, I have some messages for you. And she said, what did you do to your feet? She said, were you just wearing a new pair of sneakers and you hurt your feet today? Like literally that specific. And a few hours before that, I had just put on a new pair of sneakers for the first time and had blisters all over my feet. And that just shows you how interconnected we are and how amazing this energy is. So Shannon, I couldn't agree with you more, my friend. And I would love to turn it over now to Haley for a moment to come from the Chinese medicine perspective. Haley, I love you, my friend. I love the work that we do together, and the acupuncture and the energy work as well. She helped me when I had COVID a few months ago too. Haley, talk to us about the energetic body from a Chinese medicine perspective and how that ties into our physical and emotional pain.
Oh, well, you really can't separate the body from the mind and the spirits and the emotions and all of this psychological aspect. And there's a real tendency in Western medicine and Western thought to be like, well, the body's over there and the mind's over there. But really, there are two points on the same axis, always working together. And as long as we're alive, they're functioning together. So when people come in with pain, which is a very common complaint and can happen in all parts of the body, it's important to be mindful of what part of spirit work is tied up in that as well. So each meridian system is associated with a certain emotion in Chinese medicine. And when we see problems come up in various regions, for example, the liver is associated with anger and frustration, and also the joints. So sometimes joint pain is telling us that we need to come into relationship with
some aspect of our lives that is causing us to feel stuck and blocked and unable to move forward, which is really like the function of the joints, right? They help us move through space. So that's a very integral part of Chinese medicine and acupuncture, and an integral part of being human as well.
And there was a great book you recommended to me, Haley, and it was referred to me by two people in the same day. I think it's called The Web We Weave, or it's something like that, if somebody wants to learn about all these energy systems. What's it called again?
The Web That Has No Weaver by
The
Ted
Web
Kaplan.
That, yes, The Web That Has No Weaver. It's apparently an incredible book. I started skimming through it and reading it, and it gets into how all of these energetic systems in our bodies are related. And I had a friend actually recently, of a friend who was going through drug addiction, and she was getting very angry, and she's on opiates and different things. And I was trying to explain to the people who love her, I was saying, listen, have great compassion. You know, she's probably going through a hard time, and all of these pills that she's on are impacting her liver, and she doesn't know how to control her anger. And so maybe just be a little
Absolutely.
compassionate. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, her liver's doing a lot of work to help detox all of that, and it's got a big job ahead of it to really like process medications. And so it's easy for the energetics of the liver to then get kind of backed up and stuck, and you feel like you're becoming more angry. I remember I was volunteering in hospice when I was an acupuncture student in New York City, and one of my persons that I was hanging out with was dying of liver failure. He was an alcoholic and had a cirrhotic liver, and he was on his way out. And I would come in and just come into the room and watch TV with him, because he was so angry. He didn't want to speak to me. He didn't want to interact with me. And he would have family members there who clearly were uncomfortable with that and like tried to engage with me. And I didn't mind, because it wasn't personal to me. You know, it was his process of trying to experience life with some damaged parts of his body. But it was just very interesting to see that connection play out in real life, you know?
So powerful. Thank you, Haley. And I'd love to turn it over to Vlada for a moment. It's funny, I know you and Vlada now know each other through Om-Heals. It's great that you guys got to give each other sessions. We love to connect our practitioners on Om Heals, because we custom match make people, and we also want to custom match our healers, because healers need healing too. So Vlada, talk to us a little bit about the soul. I remember one of the first sessions that we did together years ago, you were able to drop in and just help me heal so deeply to a relationship. I think it was with my sister, if I recall at the time. How is it we can even do that? And talk to us a little bit about the relationships that souls have with one another and how that impacts us in the here and now.
Thank you, Jennifer. I just quickly want to say that when we did a very short, like a 25-minute exchange of sessions with Haley, she's an acupuncturist, right? But via Zoom, she kind of went through me, she scanned me, and she pointed out so precisely exactly those things that I was kind of really couldn't put words around it, and was, feeling it for a long time. But it's so important really to have like an outside opinion as someone just looking at you from the outside and pointing out to you. Sometimes you're just kind of blind to some things that are so important. I just want to mention that it's fascinating, the energy work, and I'm extremely, extremely grateful for those moments and opportunity when I get those insights about my soul. And that ties into the fact that definitely when I feel like I scan myself and I feel some parts of me are not integrated, there is maybe a little bit of pain in my neck or shoulder, I know there is something going on. Or there is, a feeling in my stomach. And I already start to understand, okay, I need to look at those parts that, for example, connect to the third chakra. And generally when I work with people and I do clairvoyant readings and I look at their energy, to me, everything is a chakra system. And I start with that. I just go through chakras and I see what exactly is going on. And then if there is any specific blockages or pain, physical pain in that place, we definitely need to start releasing that on an energetic level first. And that, what you ask about relationship, we really cannot fully step into powerful relationship before we step into powerful relationship with ourselves first. And in my relationship with my sister, until I fully embodied myself, and until I fully stepped into who I know myself to be and got into full, clarity about that, integrated all my pieces and parts, it was impossible to create healthy dynamics in those relationships. So in a way, the best way to create really healing relationship in the family and with every other person in the world is to actually create the first healing relationship with ourselves. Know thyself, heal thyself, and then, you will just go into the world and it's easy. It becomes easy. There is no undercarpet dynamics that we just struggle with again and again. So I suggest to start with ourselves, and if we feel specific problem with the physical body, I try to see if there is anything connected to the chakra system, and then go through chakra system. It's extremely easy to identify which energy is blocked maybe, or which energy you're struggling with or you haven't integrated in. Work with that energy. You can use meditation, you can use breath work, you can use Reiki, you can use acupuncture, you can use so many techniques, and all of them are powerful to unlock, unblock, and integrate that. And I look at us as humans as just like that energy vehicle. And when all the chakras are working properly and aligned, we are just feeling like ourselves. And that very unique, very special light that we are emanating, our soul is emanating, is just out there. And when we are in that radiance, we are really connected to our soul. And then we can connect to everyone else from that place.
So beautiful, Vlada. Thank you. And I turn over to you, Scott. I know we have some comments and feedback from people on some of the pages.
Yeah, first of all, what a wonderful group of people. So thank you. Each one of you are sharing such wisdom, and we're getting a lot of wonderful feedback. So here's a question, and I'm kind of integrating some of the comments that are coming in from Facebook. How do we differentiate between our higher self, or what might be the soul, and our own personality? What are some of the ways to differentiate, to recognize which voice is which, and ideally then integrate our higher self or our soul's wisdom or purpose into our egoic personality, our daily actions? That's kind of an integration of questions that have been coming in, and would love to hear each of you, your thoughts on it, including you, Jennifer, because you're a wise woman. So I'll turn it to you first, Jennifer.
Well, thank you, Scott. I'm going to toss this one to Shannon because I can feel her heart is saying, pick me, pick me. So I'm going to turn it over to Shannon first, and then we'll hear from everyone else.
Scott, you made a really good analogy, and it's rampant these days of the separation of our whatever higher self, or there's such a feeling of separation that we really need to remember there is no separateness, right? And we are all divinely connected. We are all constantly connected. And so if my feeling is that if we really can grasp the concept of non-separation, of the fact that we are all connected. And then, I do have a lot of clients ask me, how do I know if this is my voice or if this is a darker voice? If you are comfortable with what's being said, and I'm not saying, that us being pushed to do something is always comfortable, but if something inside of you is tingling and it just doesn't feel right, then it isn't from you. Because when you're in alignment with everything, your messages resonate. You feel it in your body. But when you are out of alignment, it doesn't quite fit. There's something that's not quite there. And I encourage everybody to remain in that alignment, to remain in the alignment of knowing that there isn't a separation between us and our higher selves, or us and any other divine energies.
Beautiful. Thank you, Shannon.
Yeah, I have two fun things. If anybody wants to kind of geek out with me, this is one of my favorite things to do in tuning in to our inner authorities, is what it's called in human design. Human design is a beautiful overlapping of acupuncture, Chinese medicine, Kabbalah, all of this wisdom. And if you go to, I'll put the website in the chat, jovianarchive.com, you can get your free chart if you know what time you were born at, and it will tell you what your internal authority is. So depending on how we're all designed as human beings, I remember about 8 years ago, I started working with my business coach, and I thought he was off his rocker, mind you, business coach. And he said, Jen, I'm going to teach you how to listen to your heart, because it turned out that my heart was my inner authority. Some people, it might be your sacral area, it might be your solar plexus. We all have different things that are authorities. And so if you fill this out, you can get your free chart on Jovian Archive, and it'll tell you what your authority is. And then you can learn to sense in your body. For me, a no in my heart feels like a yanking down, and a yes feels like a beautiful expanding up. And it's a great way, as Shannon was just saying, to check in with that. So two of my favorite little things to geek out on when I meet people are human design and gene keys, both of which you can get your free profiles. So I'll put those in the chat for everybody. And would love to go to you, Haley. What are your thoughts on that? How do you integrate the two?
I think what Shannon said was very true. We are always connected, and our body is a fantastic. I'm going to borrow the expression from a friend of mine who's a medium, Fleur Lusink. She calls the body an antenna, and we are the radio, and we can tune in to our higher power, ourself, our truth, God, divine, whatever it is you want to call it, because that's always connected to us. But using the power and the wisdom of the body to be able to feel into what is right for you, because your body has so many different kinds of intelligences in it. We call them qi in a sense in Chinese medicine. And there's so many different levels and layers through which we can appreciate and process and take in and understand and unwind. And so just working with the body is a great way to do that. And there's many, many ways. So you might have, maybe you like to dance, or maybe you like to get acupuncture, or maybe you like to do qigong, or you like to garden or paint, or whatever it is. Maybe you like to cook. It doesn't matter, as long as you're sinking into yourself. The answers are all within, because you are always connected.
Such wonderful wisdom. I love that, Haley. It is true. I remember there was once a thing on Daily Om, I think, that was like chakra dance your way to happiness or something. And it's true. We actually, even just shaking and dancing and seeing where you're blocked in your body, if you're moving your hips or you're moving your chest, and sometimes stuff might come up for you because you might have a physical blockage in one of your areas. So I think that's great advice, Haley. Thank you.
I want
Kimberly?
to add, I just wanted to say something about what Haley just said. It's so important for us now that we're living in a time where there's so much focus on our devices, and we go to our devices to get our information. And I certainly do that a lot. And it's important to remember that for most of human history, we listened to our body. Our body told us that rain was coming. Our body told us where it was safe, where the food was, and our body is this incredible way of informing us, and we've kind of gotten out of touch with that because we've gotten so focused on getting our information from our cell phone or from our device. So I'm really appreciating those of you that are helping us to remember to listen to the body. And again, throughout our remaining time, any other thoughts that come up for any of you of how we can listen to our body, how we can gather information, I think would be very valuable. So thank you for bringing that up, and I just wanted to expand on it for a minute.
Beautiful, Scott. I'd love to turn it over to Kimberly Meredith for a moment now. Kimberly, I know you talk about this a lot in your book, Awakening to the Fifth Dimension. Share with us a little bit about your wisdom on that, of how we can hear the difference.
Thank you. Yeah, I go into it pretty deeply. I even have a couple chapters in my book about chakras. I do a lot of chakra exercises and healings and journaling and meditation. This is a pretty intense topic, actually, and pretty deep. I'm glad that we're getting a question about that. I have a lot of thoughts about this because we have a lot of people out there with getting thoughts that are not always so friendly. People get constant negative thoughts. They often ask me, are these my thoughts? Are these a darker consciousness? Is this an outer consciousness coming at me? I also get people saying, wow, I'm really in touch with my higher consciousness. I'm becoming super successful now. I'm having a Kundalini awakening. You know, but I often get a negative attack happening to me. I hear negative thoughts, you know. So what is these outer consciousness that happen to us, and these inner consciousness that's sometimes a negative consciousness? So it is real. You know, these are real consciousness attacks. There are negative consciousness and there's higher consciousness that go on. And so also, if you were raised with a tumultuous childhood, people often have things that you're dealing with. So if you're dealing with emotional situations where people often will say, well, when I was born between the ages of 1 to 6, you may think the world's against you. So that's also something that goes on. So what I like to help people understand is there's exercises, there's meditation, there's journaling, there's ways to understand that you can build a relationship between you and spirit, and communicating with getting into a practice where you are no longer getting yourself involved with negative energies, and you can be in this higher consciousness, which is the energy of the Holy Spirit. And it's amazing. So people can move into this fifth dimension and beyond and not have negative attacks anymore. The lower frequency get into your energy field. Now, does this happen overnight? Maybe not, but it does happen. You can learn to do it through journaling, meditating, and all kinds of, like some said, dancing. There's lots of ways to stop this energy from coming into your life.
Yeah, you hit on a very good point there, Kimberly. That makes me think of a book we referenced on Friday night, Many Lives, Many Masters by Brian Weiss, if anybody wants to explore past lives. And I remember Brian Weiss was once asked, he was a pioneer, is a pioneer in past life regressions. And they said, well, Brian, aren't you concerned about, negative entities or spirits causing you harm with all this work you did? And he said, no, because I'm not vibrating at that frequency. And so it's really a conscious choice that we make. If we're in victim consciousness or perpetrator consciousness of shame and blame and guilt,
exactly.
We're human beings. I've been there. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I still pop into that. And I love how you talk in the book, Kimberly. It's that some of us who are in the third dimension, we might pop into the fifth dimension and have this experience of ecstasy and bliss. And then something might trigger us, and then we get dragged back down into fear and blame, anxiety and worry. And I think our goal is eventually to create, as HeartMath says, a baseline vibration that's higher and higher until those frequencies become inaccessible to us, right?
Yes. In the beginning of my book, I was raised in a tumultuous childhood. So a lot of clients that come to me have had a lot of bad things happen. So basically, there's two separate things. People could say, well, the world's against me. A lot of people have had a lot of trauma, can feel that way, but the world is for you. The world is here for us. The world is very dark right now. We're in a third dimensional world right now, disease, suffering, trauma. but we're moving into the fifth dimension. We are moving into a rapid awakening, which is super cool. Are there negative energies trying to attack us? Yes, but we can raise our vibration and our consciousness. This is happening. We can learn how to do this. In the book, I write about are many ways to raise our vibration and understand how to remove those energies from us. And to do that, our daily exercises.
Beautiful. Yes, there are lots of good resources in the book. And on that note, I'd love to turn it over to Vlada, because I remember there was a beautiful exercise, Vlada, that you did for us in a clubhouse room just about every Sunday on Clubhouse at 11 a.m. PT, right about now, actually. We do an Om Heals Clubhouse room, and Vlada has joined us there, and Shannon and Haley actually as well. Actually, Haley, I think we were supposed to do one last week and we moved it. So you can find those on Clubhouse. But Vlada, there was a technique that you had about a rose. And I remember it from a few months back where you said visualize kind of a rose protecting shield. Can you remind us of that? I think it's a beautiful exercise to remind people of how to protect your energy.
Yeah, I definitely will remind about this. It's a very like a simple psychic tool that each psychic, I guess, know. Just one thing I want to mention before jumping into this is that, you know, the need to protect our energy comes when we are not in a full power. We are not in a full alignment. And I would recommend to look at your third chakra, as it's a kind of internal protection mechanism. And when the third chakra, solar plexus or navel chakra, is working properly, there is not so much we really need to do to protect ourselves. There is this, our power, inner power, our fire, our energy is protecting us. And the more I notice that when I'm off my alignment, when I'm not anchored, I didn't do my meditation practice in the morning, I didn't ground myself properly, I immediately took the phone right after waking up. That's it, right? I'm really not aligned. And this is the access to all the unconscious energy coming in, me picking up everything from the world, wherever I'm going. So I believe there is like a, a basic hygiene that we can do every day to create for ourselves a space and a field of being in alignment, grounded, and also protecting. And I'm happy to offer you this short and very small tool, how to kind of create a little bit of space for you in your day-to-day. You know about boundaries, you know that each of us sit in a kind of an egg shape or round bubble shape energy field. And for some of us, our borders are very close, our borders are very far. But the fact is that when we, for a moment, sense and feel that there is this energy bubble around us, and we feel that there is the edge of that bubble. So usually I extend my hand and I know that my hand straight is the line where my energy field ends. That's the border, that's the line. And right in front of it, I visualize an image of a rose. It can be an image of a crystal. It can be an image of your favorite flower. It can be an image of a sacred symbol. It can be absolutely any image that you like. I like the rose. So you visualize the rose and you set intention that rose is going to be absorbing any energy that is not good for you coming from the outside your way. And then at the end of the day, you just see that rose, maybe it doesn't look so good anymore, and you just send it to the universe and you blow it up into 1,000 million pieces and you destroy it. And then you create a new one. And when I'm going through, for example, many sessions during the day, I like to put one in the front, side by side, and one at the back. So kind of, I'm surrounded by roses. In a very intense moments where I see there is a lot of friction happening, I like to put like a field of roses everywhere around. And that really actually works. Just a very, very simple tool how to visualize, set intention, and it works. It's beautiful. I really recommend you to try that one.
Thank you so much, Vlada. Scott, I want to turn over to you for a moment. Are there any other questions? I know you're tracking all the channels out there in Unify. Are there any other pressing questions that we want to address?
There's not a pressing question, but I do want to read a little bit of what Connie who's one of our regulars and a wise, wise woman, says. And I think that what she wrote is beautiful, and I'd love to get people, our presenters' responses to this. So I'm pulling it up. Connie writes, we chose to incarnate on Earth on our soul's journey to self-love, self-acceptance, and alignment with our divinity and our gifts. That we are in a dance of souls to see our light and our shadow, those parts of ourselves that perhaps we don't love yet, so we can bring those feelings of less than that are deep in our subconscious into the light and release them. Now, I have to acknowledge I resonate strongly with that perspective and would love to use that as a jumping off point for our different panelists and what they might have to say about that.
Haley, did you want to share something, my friend?
Yeah,
I see
one
a
of the
look of
things that
inquiry on your face.
Oh, well, it just makes me think about how beautiful it is working with people and being able to help them, because when you get somebody on your table, what you get is like a whole new, wonderful, unique person, and there's only one of them. And then it's this like, wow, what a gift, so you get this like beautiful soul, this package, this being here to like help them express what their life's purpose is. And a lot of what that means for us is coming into relationship with ourselves and using that to allow us to come into relationship with other people. And we can do that when we have like enough physical energy to get it done. If you are just really, really not healthy, it's very difficult to get higher up in the emotional energy levels so that you can bring that out. But being able to take a beat for your health really makes a lot possible, because we are full of energy. We have so much to give, so much to express, and so much that's unique about us that the world really needs. That really, I mean, gosh, please don't let that get hidden, because you have so many opportunities to affect people around you in such a beautiful way. And there's no way to tell like how much that can multiply. Really, I mean, even a simple gesture on your part can really save somebody's day or life even. So I think that like honoring that you are this unique and amazing being like is an important part of that journey.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Scott, I wasn't sure if you wanted to go ahead, my friend, and share something.
No, just would love to hear from each panelist. I think we have time for 2 more rounds, so maybe get our panelists' responses to what Connie wrote, and then one last round to kind of learn a little bit about what they do and how people can get more from them.
Okay, perfect. So let's see here. Shannon, did you want to go ahead and give your insights on what Connie had to share?
Yes, I actually wanted to also piggyback on Haley. Haley is she's right on track here. We're so conditioned to look at the negative. We're so conditioned to look at all of the bad things that go on in life. And one of the things that I recommend to my clients who are looking to raise their frequency, and when I say raise their frequency, it's like coming into alignment with really who they are. And one of the things that I recommend is the compliments challenge. And I challenge people to randomly, but accurately and deeply from inside to compliment 2 random people every day. And then at the end of the day, to compliment themselves. So they talk about the thing that they did well that day, but then they also have to do a physical compliment. And I've noticed with my clients, it starts out really surface. Oh, I love my hair. Oh, I did well. I got up today, and then as you encourage them to get deeper and deeper, what happens is we retrain the brain to go from looking for the negative and always in that what's going on now, where's the other shoe gonna fall from, to wow, life is really nice. I can authentically give this person who I don't even know a compliment and really truly feel it from my heart. So I am now giving that person that positive energy, and they're going to go into and give somebody else the positive energy. And it really allows us to, it kind of retrains the brain. We have to look for the positives in the world in order to give those authentic compliments. And so to do that begins to raise the vibration of not only us, but the people around us and the people that we speak to.
I think that's such a great idea, Shannon. I forgot that's one of your, Shannon has so many wonderful tools and techniques that she teaches people on. And I just thank you, my friend. And Haley, thank you for sparking that little bit of light in all of us. It is important to connect to that, to the good, connect to the essence of everyone. It's so easy to be in a judgy world and say, you did this wrong, you could do this better. And what if we all just said, you know what I really love about you? I love X. You know what I love about me? I love Y, and just constantly be coming from that place of unconditional love and acceptance. How different would the world be if we did that? So beautiful. And Vlad, oh, go ahead, Shannon. What would you like to say?
I apologize. I'm being guided to share something funny, if that's okay. So the other day, I was helping a guy who wanted to talk to this girl, and his first instinct was, I'm going to go tell her about her curves and how her curves look. And I said, well, is there something a little bit more authentic that you can actually compliment this girl on? And he's like, well, that doesn't work. And I said, what do you mean it doesn't work? Give her something that is not something that she can't help, but something that she chose from herself. Like, give her something authentic that you like about her. And he walked over with his head down. He's like, this isn't going to work. And he walked over to the girl and he gave her an authentic compliment. And right away, I just saw her light up. And she then went with him to go grab a drink. And it was really nice to see that instead of going for the, oh yeah, let me look at her curves, the carnal sense, he took something more authentic, gave her a more authentic compliment, and it really kind of just lit her up.
I love that example, and actually I'm going to riff on it for a moment. I do couples work. That's kind of my day job. And I always start by having the couples come back into connection. Because inevitably they're seeing me and they think they're going to go right into what the other person did wrong or whatever. And my whole point is to bring them back into connection. And one of the ways that I do that is say what's a character strength or a virtue that you admire in the other? And that's a good way. It's kind of a riff on what you're suggesting. And it's a good way to get people to do that, to really think, because all of us, if we live with somebody or if we're in a relationship with somebody, there are certain character strengths or virtues that person has that we really admire, that we really appreciate. And usually we're attracted to them because we want to merge with that or we want more of that. So that's one way to kind of work with the idea that I'm hearing you expressing, Shannon. And I think it's Vlada's turn.
Well, just to complete, I would suggest slowing down a little bit. You know, Scott, you touched upon the fact that we really do live in the screen today, and it's really difficult to connect with yourself when your attention is outside of yourself, right? When your eyes are open and you're paying attention and you need to follow. So the art of slowing down is really important. And in that slowing down, we can give ourselves permission to, before we answer, reply, or give a judgment or make a decision, we actually take a moment to feel what is right for me. And what Jen said in the very beginning, there is a response, there is a clarity in how we respond from the inside. Is it a yes? Like, would you like to go to the dinner today, right? And all your essence inside is saying, please just stay at home, take rest, read a book, don't go anywhere. You need to be by yourself. You need to heal in solitude. But you're like, yeah, definitely, I'm going, right? That's the kind of an act that is against that feeling, and the feeling is definitely coming from the soul. It's just in small things, but every time when we slow down, it's like, can I give myself permission to authentically reply to or respond to what's happening? That is huge. And really big things are just collection of very, very small things. And every time we listen to that voice and we act upon it. It's really not only to listen upon, yes, I know that I need to change my career, for example, or all my friends have been telling me that I have this gift and I have to embody it. It's not only about knowing it, it's really about acting upon what you know. And the act of acting empowers your soul to speak to you more, give you more guidance, and that's in itself an empowerment. And the more you are empowered, the more you acting upon your intuition, upon your soul's desires, you are given authentic permission to everyone else around you to also act this way. And it's kind of that gauge of permission. How much are you letting yourself be fully your authentic expression, your authentic soul, and how much you're allowing others around you to be the same. And that kind of brings us to a place where we just feel free inside of ourselves, and people feel free around us as well. So yeah, let's slow down a bit.
I think that's a book, Vlada. I think that's a book that you need to go write, The Art of Slowing Down. Scott was
Art
like,
of Slowing
yes.
Down.
I think it's beautiful. And perfect. Speaking of books, Kimberly, let's go over to you, my friend. What are your thoughts on all of this? How can we all connect more deeply? And everybody's been sharing their wisdom with this.
Connecting more deeply on a healing level, or?
Well, originally this started with a response to Connie's question. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to diverge here for a moment because we're going to dive into Melinda's question, because there was another pressing question that we had here in the chat that I know we're going to want to get over to. Let me go ahead and go to Melinda's question right here. She said, I feel as if the world is getting higher and missteps are becoming more painful. This weekend, I feel more or less jittery, anxious, and buzzing. This feels it may be from using my mind just a touch more than normal. Can the panel please speak to how to navigate this new space? So maybe you could touch on that a little bit, Kimberly.
I'm not really sure about that question.
So I think what I'm hearing, if I were to distill the essence of Melinda's question down, is as everybody's been touching on here with, getting caught up in our mind, getting caught up on our cell phones, being busy. Vlada just suggested slowing down. What are your recommendations to navigate as we're transitioning, as you would put it, from the third to the fifth dimension?
Well, I think that, as I've been talking about since I've been on the panel right now, because of the work that I do as a medical intuitive and a healer and the patients that I see, there's a lot of issues with people throughout their body, in a perspective of emotional and physical, with lots of ailments going on, with immune suppressed conditions and not a lot of self-care. And just like how do you say Vera is saying, slowing down. So to answer that question, I would say kindness, unconditional love, forgiveness, meditation, finding self-care, time to do the meditation. Moving out of the 3D world is really important, which is greed. Learning about what kind of food to eat, supplements, learning what is the fifth dimension exactly. So that's going to take longer than just a few minutes to talk about. and understanding, why do I deserve a miracle? Why do I deserve to be healed? A lot of people don't really feel they deserve the life that they're choosing, which is this miraculous life that we deserve, that we're moving into, that we can have right now. So when you're hearing all the chatter and can't focus, even when you're meditating, that's that you're still stuck in 3D. And a lot of people are bouncing right now from 3 to 5. And so when I do a medical mediumship reading on somebody, and you don't have to tell me anything that you have, I will know what's wrong with you. And a lot of times I'll know if you have a thyroid disease, or you've got a brain tumor, or you have cancer or COVID. And that is connected to an energy that is thrown off in the body, because emotional energy and physical energy is connected. So what the answer is that we need more self-care, but we also need to not be self-centered. We need to actually be in a less ego and helping others at the same time of helping ourselves and loving others and loving ourselves.
Thank you so much. And Melinda responded to you, Kimberly, and she says, thank you, Kimberly. As a caretaker and artist, your answer speaks to me. She says, I teach yoga and do Ayurvedic, but it feels like it's just not enough right now. And I think sometimes we all feel that way.
Can I answer her back? The
Yes,
guides
please.
are telling me, because I can do readings in the chat, they're telling me that she has someone communicating to her that has crossed over, that is a number 8. It was a soulmate that died. So there is somebody that is trying to contact her, and I can do a session with her if she'd like at a discount rate if she wants to contact me, but she can confirm that in the chat. There is somebody that they're giving me the sign of the 8, which is the infinity sign, that somebody died that's trying to contact her.
Thank you so much. And that's the beautiful thing, mediumship. We had another medium on the program last weekend as well. And mediumship in and of itself can be profoundly healing to know the ones that we've loved. I love it. Melinda says, I will contact her. Yes, Kimberly's amazing.
Yeah.
I just did. She's always on point.
Yeah, I know some people don't know I do talk to the other side. They blink through me and they tell me numbers, and they're just, when she's spoken, I could see the number 8, which is the infinity sign, meaning a soulmate is coming in for her. And it's saying they're around her 7 days a week, actually.
Very beautiful. Thank you so much, Kimberly. Scott, tell me how we're doing on time, my friend. Do we have time for one more question, and then we can get into...
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, first of all, what a wonderful group. And thank you, Kimberly, for your generosity of being supportive to Melinda. That's beautiful. And yeah, I would love for us to maybe one more round of how about just anything that people want to share as kind of a final thought on the topic. And then we'll take a look at their websites and how we can get more Kimberly and Flada and Shannon and Haley and more Jennifer Hill as well.
Thank you. I think, but there's never enough of all of us to go around, right? So there's, well, let's reverse that. Cancel. There's plenty of all of us to go around. And it's all about honoring the self first, though. I think that's, somebody once taught me, honor yourself first or all else is lost. And I think that really ties into what you're saying as well, Melinda. One of the things we find from Om Heals is algorithmically, we have you answer some questions. And depending on how your answers show up, we actually see things about you that may be areas where you have pain in your life. And one of the 4 quadrants we measure is sometimes we see where people are overgivers. They put everyone else's needs above their own. And the idea is to get into alignment. How do we give to others and simultaneously make sure we're giving enough to ourselves so that we don't fall out of balance emotionally and then feel depleted or exhausted? So I think that's what life is all about, is finding those energetic balances. So I'm going to turn it over now, and we're going to go ahead.
Before you turn it over, since you mentioned Dome Heals, I want to slow down and I want to take a moment to really go to this website. And I want to remind everybody, this is a wonderful, wonderful organization that Jennifer is the co-founder of. It's Om Heals. And she has found 85 practitioners from all over the world. And what's cool is you get matched. You fill out a little survey that's really fun to fill out. I've done it a couple times now. And then she matches you. And if you take a look at the practitioners, they're all beautiful souls from all over the world, and many of them have been on the Awakening World recently, like David. Going up, we've had Aaron on, we've had David, we had Ashley last night. She was wonderful. And so many of these, Dr. Ivy Hilton, who's a regular now on the Awakening World. And so she matches you with these wonderful, wonderful people. Lion, who's on Friday night. So if any of you are looking for an opportunity to really get some healing, everything from animal communication to energy healing to psychics to life coaches. They're all here, Reiki masters. So thank you very much, Jennifer, for the remarkable creation. And I want to just continue to support it. And every one of the practitioners that you've brought on to our show has been wonderful. They're these, like everybody we're meeting today, bright, beautiful lights who are really connected to their dharma. They're doing their dharma in the world, and they're doing it with so much love. So thank you, and let's all utilize om-heals.com.
Oh, you're amazing, Scott. You are my hero. Thank you. And it's free to get matched and see who you match with. If nothing else, you get to find out those insights about yourself. And I love matching people. Right now, there's an algorithm, but then we also use the human aspect of it. And Haley has her hand up, who is, of course, a practitioner on the platform. And Haley, did you want to share something?
Oh yeah, I just wanted to say that, yeah, I'm a practitioner on the platform, but I'm also a client of the platform. And I got to tell you, I've just been, it's amazing. This algorithm works really, really well. Like Vlada was one of my matches. I am so lucky I got put in touch with her. I mean, it's just, wow, what a blessing. Having a good team to support the work that you want to do energetically, emotionally, spiritually is just priceless. And this website is a fantastic resource for that.
Oh, you're so sweet. I love you, Vlad, and Haley and Shannon and Kimberly. I love you all. Thank you, Haley. Thank you for that beautiful testimonial and just so much love and deep appreciation. And it's so fun. We all match. This is the thing that my business partner Moon and I figured out is in therapeutic relationships. How many of us have met a therapist of any sort, energy or otherwise, and it just wasn't the right fit, and you just didn't feel heard and seen and known. And so our mathematical formula figured out what's the exact percentage of variability that's tolerable, that's different from you, and that you can still receive the healing you need. So that's been the really fun part, to see how amazingly this has worked. In fact, our long-term goal is to even license this to other traditional therapists so that people can have the right match right off the bat. That's really our intention, just like you had, Haley. Yeah, beautiful. Well, since we're on you, Haley, let's go ahead and have you share maybe some closing wisdom, any thoughts that you'd love to leave people with around listening to our soul and empowering our purpose. And then we can pull up your website as well.
Oh, sure. One thing that this job has really taught me is about this profound sense of optimism. Do you know what I never see? I never see people who put some time and energy into feeling differently, into feeling better. I never see that not work. It always works. 100% of the time, if you are looking to make change and to shift, you will experience change and you will shift. It works. It definitely works. So it does require your time and your attention and your energy and your softness towards yourself so that you can move forward in ways that make sense to you. But these are skills that we as humans have innately, and it's okay to cultivate them and to allow them to grow, and you can be happier and healthier.
I think that's such great feedback, Kaylee. You are so 100% spot on. It's about being in the inquiry, whatever that looks like, whether it's picking up a book, working with a healer, doing yoga, doing anything, even journaling, just giving yourself 5 minutes a day in silence without your phone or with a journal, and honoring yourself. I think that is so beautiful and powerful, such a great message. And so, Scott, would you like to pull up Haley's website, or are you already on top of it, my friend? I don't even know why bother.
Now, Haley, since you're in Lisbon, and it's called acupunctureinlisbon.com is the website, but do you do Reiki healings for those of us that are not fortunate enough to come to Lisbon right away?
Oh yeah, I work with clients all over the world, and my energy technique is it includes Reiki, but my name for it at the moment is Chi Energy Healing. Actually, it's a blend of distant acupoint stimulation, meridian balancing, Reiki, and craniosacral. And yeah, you can. We don't have to be in the same city or even the same continent to get some work done. So
fabulous. And tell us about what's happening on June 24th.
Oh, it's my next workshop with my friend Vanessa, who's also here in Lisbon, who is a sound bath healer and a breathwork therapist. And we're doing a blend of acupuncture and breathwork. So if you happen to be in Lisbon and you want to join us, it's on the 24th.
All right. Well, thank you. We're going to have to work out a trip to Europe. We'll go to Vlada's Tuscany adventure and then head on over to Lisbon.
Cool.
We actually had, Scott, from one of the last shows, a woman named Carmen who was here who connected with one of our practitioners. And then I got to see her for lunch and her daughter one day, and she was on her way to Haley and had just seen another practitioner, Jose. So people do pop over to Lisbon if you feel inspired.
All right.
Beautiful. Well, thank you, Haley. Let's go to maybe Kimberly next. I know Kimberly has an upcoming book launch, which, by the way, I'm going to be at in person myself at the Grove on June 12th in Los Angeles on Robertson. So if you want to say hi to Kimberly and myself, and Shannon, you should come too. It'd be great to see you too, my friend. So Kimberly, what is your wisdom for us, my friend? Your closing wisdom on listening to the soul before we get into your website and book launch.
Oh gosh, I would say we all have gifts, and I feel like it's time to move into them and open them up and accept the purpose of them and tap into them and just go, 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 go. And just, this is all a part of the awakening. We're all human. We make mistakes, but I feel like this is our time. This is our life. And I can only speak from me having the experience of losing my life and being reborn again, and now having the gifts that I have and how I work for the Holy Spirit and save lives. And I know that everyone watching today and experiencing this beautiful event today, and how I'm so grateful to be here with all of you. I just want you to know to have the faith, and whoever is struggling with any kind of illness or emotional, illness or anything going on, keep the faith and know that you can have your miracle. God and the Holy Spirit is here for you. I love you.
I feel your love, Kimberly, and it is really moving. Like when you think about the work that you're doing, the work that Shannon, Vlada, Haley, that all of you are doing on this planet,
Yeah.
and what you had to go through, hearing your harrowing story from the book of, literally you were on the cusp of death. You were dead at one point, and then coming back from that. And sometimes we don't have to go that hard, we don't have to wait till we're on the precipice of death. And if you see a loved one going through it, be there, reach out to that person, and from one soul to another. If you see somebody burning the candle at both ends, like you share in your book, or you see somebody harming themselves, not loving themselves, help us to cherish one another. But first, start with cherishing ourselves. It's so many of you have reiterated that throughout today, right?
Yes. And I'm so grateful that the one person that comes in my clinic that, I have the blinking eyes, that I'm able to find the cancer they didn't know they had, or I'm able to see the child come in the office that says, I feel better, that God gave me my life back and that I did have these gifts appear. And I just want people to know that, whatever you're going through, you can make it. You can do it. Thank you.
I want to ask you, Kimberly, a minute or two ago, you had some tears come. And I always like to go back and ask people, what did those tears have to say? Because that's a really precious moment.
Yeah, I have them right now even. It's just remembering me in the hospital losing my life and coming back, and the 2 years in the wheelchair and how hard it was recovering. And then it's how grateful I am to help people now.
Thank you so much for your vulnerability. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful, and that vulnerability makes it safe for others to be vulnerable. So you're actually doing a beautiful job of modeling vulnerability and preciousness. So thank you for that. Thank you. And we can learn more about Kimberly by going to the Healing Trilogy thehealingtrilogy.com. And a couple of things, please always subscribe to the mailing list. This is how we, connect with all the beautiful people you meet on the awakening world. And I really want to encourage people to get the book that Jennifer has been reading and talking about. It's Kimberly's new book, Awakening to the Fifth Dimension. And easy to order. You can get it from any of these places, Amazon, Target, everywhere, Barnes & Noble. And then again, this special event that's taking place in the LA area on Sunday, June 12th. And you were saying, Kimberly, that people can register in advance on the Saturday, June 11th, prior to Sunday, June 12th, yeah?
Yeah, it's not virtual, it's in person. And I guess they set it up where you can get a ticket the day before at the farmer's market and then the day of. And what we're going to do is really going to be cool is we're going to have mediumship readings and book signing. And this is my first book signing event in LA. So it's exciting. It's the 20th year anniversary of Barnes & Noble.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's so cool. Congratulations.
Thank you. And I'm excited I'm going to meet Jennifer in person. You're wearing you're kind of wearing the color of Barnes & Noble today.
I know, it's green. It's heart. I felt like wearing a heart today. I was just like, I just wanted to share hearts. I can't wait to meet in person and give you a great big hug and to support your endeavors, Kimberly, because I just thank you. Thank you for your share. I was tearing up on my end too, because I felt it, having read your book, heard your story, and now knowing you, I'm so deeply grateful. Shout out to our friend, Noah Berman, who connected the two of us and just knew that we would hit it off. And like so many things, when we're living our life in resonance, when we're following our soul, listening to our soul, the universe gifts you people, the universe gifts you situations, and you begin to notice all of these beautiful synchronicities of just divinely meeting the right people at the right time, just like my experience of getting to know Kimberly. Thank you, Kimberly.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Scott.
My pleasure, Kimberly. It's great to have you. How fortunate we are. We've had you on The Awakening World twice in the last 6 weeks. So it's a blessing. Thank you very much for your beautiful work in the world.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Well, let's go over to Shannon now. And Shannon, if you can pull up, we'd love to hear any closing wisdom or thoughts. I know you are a plethora of wisdom. Whatever you say is magic that comes out of your mouth, because I know you are divinely guided by the angels, like the wings behind you. So what closing wisdom do you have for anyone on listening to their souls?
I would just say that the most important thing is to remain in alignment, to remain in joy. When we're out of joy and when we're out of our peaceful energy, it's when we're out of alignment. So the best way to stay in alignment, best way to navigate this world is to do your best to stay in joy. Find your joy, find what it is that makes you happy, and live in that energy. A lot of us have things that we want to accomplish in life. And, I kind of liken it to ordering at a restaurant. You give your order and you let it go. You're not really exactly sure how it's going to be prepared, but you do know that you'll receive it. So you have that faith that it's coming. If we stopped the waitress every time she passed and said, I know you're not bringing me my food correctly. I know you're going to make a mistake. I know it's not happening. And we all have this negative self-talk that happens. If we can just let that go and allow for the flow of the universe to come into our lives, we would have everything we've ever wanted and more. And one of my sayings that I like to say is, I draw all of the things that I require, but I draw it bigger, better, and even more spectacular than I could even ever imagine. So we're allowing for the universe to fill in all the bigger, better, more spectacular, because maybe my imagination, or maybe things that I think are exactly the way I want them, maybe there's a little tweaking that needs to be done. Maybe there's bigger, better, more spectacular, and I'm subconsciously limiting myself. So I like to always be in the flow of the universe. And I really feel that being in that flow and being in alignment with your joy and really being in alignment with what truly feels good to you is exactly the way to go.
So beautiful, as always, my friend. And I'm going to give Shannon a quick testimonial here because I've known Shannon for 15 plus years. I'm so grateful to have her as a friend, a confidant, a business advisor, a business colleague. And years ago, I shared this a little bit on the show yesterday in case anybody missed it. I was going through a heart-wrenching experience, and I remember exactly where I was on Wilshire Boulevard in LA. And I called Shannon. Of course, she answered, and I said, "Shannon, this happened, and it was like the worst thing ever." And I just was bereft. I couldn't get through it. And Shannon said, "Oh, do you want me to move that to the non-emotional side of your brain?" And I believed in a lot of stuff, but even that was far-fetched for me. And I was like, "Yeah, Shannon, let's see you do that." And she said, "Okay, how are you doing? I just want you to breathe. What are you feeling right now?" I'm like, "I'm angry. I'm hurt. I feel betrayed." And I went through all of this, and Shannon said, "Great. Okay, I'm just going to have you breathe for 5 minutes." 5 minutes later, I went to try and retrieve that memory of the incident, and there was nothing. And still to this day, when I think of the incident, and it was somebody actually cheating and sexting at the time. So it was like heart wrenching. You know, you see the pictures and things you would never hope for your worst enemy, and then nothing. And to this day, I still have nothing around it. So Shannon, kudos to you, my friend. She is a magical magician. So let's go to your website. Shannon does such incredible work here. Can everybody see her website okay? Is that good? Scott, can you see it? So Shannon, we have shannonleichner.com, which is very easy. It's her website. She is just incredible. You can book a session with her. You can go to About and read more about all of the incredible healing work that she's done. You can schedule a session right here. You can reserve a session and choose any of the sessions. Is there anywhere else that you want me to draw people's attention to, Shannon?
No, actually, it's I was just reflecting on the fact that I haven't planned anything in quite some time because of all of the stuff that's been going on. It's been all online, so I think it's time to begin the process again.
Yes,
Let's
100%.
let's also just read her last name and the proper spelling of it.
Oh,
So
great idea.
it's Shannon, Shannon. So there's two N's in there, Shannon. And then her last name is spelt Leischner. Shannon Leichner, or is it Leichner or Leichner?
Leichner, you got it right. shannonleichner.com.
Great. And yeah, wow. I want a reading. I tell you, that sounds pretty exciting.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I love the angel wings behind you. So
Thank you.
Beautiful. And last but not least, let's go over to Vlada. Vlada, I cannot wait. If I could be at Vlada's retreat coming up here in next month, I would be. I'm actually flying back to LA for a funeral, and Vlada knows I would be there in a heartbeat otherwise, because her retreats are très magnifique, as the French would say. They are really something else and outstanding. But before we get into that and show your website, Vlada, can you just share any last wisdom or how to listen to the soul, anything left from you that you'd like to share with us?
Yeah. First of all, I just want to thank everyone, Jennifer, for you, for invitation, Scott, for you, for creating the space, and for everyone who joined this session. Beautiful, and sharing all your amazing wisdom and amazing energy. And I feel that we definitely should bring this topic maybe again and again, because what is not the most important in life than actually to connect with your soul, to know it, to feel it, to live it, to express it. I have no idea what could be more important than that. And definitely there are many, many tools and modalities. My first moment of listening to my soul just happened through just yoga classes. I started to go to yoga, and I guess all my chakras started moving, and I just started to get more and more access to my own energy, and that was just absolutely amazing for me. As simple as a few yoga classes that kickstarted it for me. From the practical point of view, I suggest us to own our crown chakra. This is something that I work with, of course, in myself in day-to-day and with my students and clients. Owning your crown chakra means there is nothing else going on there. There is no voices of any other people. You're not connecting to any frequencies or vibrations that are not yours. So to own your crown chakra, you can visualize a golden color running in your crown around the top of your head, 7th chakra, Sahasrara chakra. So you can run that golden color for a few moments or even 5 minutes. And that will slowly bring you into your own crown chakra vibration. And then you will actually unmatch the vibration of the world or other people or voices, speaking in our heads from, social media, news and everything. When we own our crown chakra, we get access to our own consciousness, our own wisdom, our own truth, and then we start to receive our own clear guidance and information and thoughts and insights that are our own. And again, it's a very simple tool. 5 minutes, run golden color through your crown chakra and ground yourself properly. That's it. I would say if you do this in the morning, you just own your crown, ground yourself down. That's magic. It can take you 10 minutes. And of course, before you go into sleep, I always suggest please set an intention. And the intention can be as simple as I would like to have more of my energy. And just having more of your energy during the night when you're sleeping results in you waking up just refilled, renewed, and a bit more clear. And then meditate in the morning before you turn on your phones and everything else. So these are very simple things, but they have been working very, very well for me and for everyone I work with. And I invite us to go back to basics sometimes.
I love that. I've been hosting this show for 2.5 years, and we've had, because we do 3 shows every weekend, a lot of amazing healers and presenters, but I've never actually heard those words, own your crown chakra. It's a beautiful concept, and I'm resonating with it. I've already said, yes, I'm going to do that. And so, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that beautiful tip and tool. And we can learn much more. And what a beautiful name for her website. It's blissbodyjourneys.com. So yes, I would love to retreat from any anxiety. So I'm immediately submitting my name and email address there, and I encourage everybody to do that. And wow, now most of us probably aren't going to be able to make it to Tuscany, but let us just all fantasize for a few minutes. Tell us a little bit about what's going to be happening on the Awaken Your Heart journey in Tuscany.
Oh, that's one of my favorite programs that I offer. It's the 7 days of really exploring divinity, exploring the energy of God through everything we get in touch with. Through our own body, through expanding our consciousness, through tapping into our soul, through connecting to our higher self, through connecting to other people, recognizing our soul is the soul of other people as well. So I'm taking people by the hand through lots of different tantric meditations, and we are really merging in that divinity that is not abstracted by anything. We harvest the essence of the divine in all that is. And good news that we are planning retreats in Portugal starting from September, October, November, and Morocco's coming up. So finally, we are going to be a little bit more active in retreat space in upcoming years. Thank God, COVID is getting better in the world, and you're all welcome.
Beautiful.
Vlada, well, I can't wait to see you and be able to give you a great big hug. It was just so synchronistic that here we had met 3 or 4 years ago. It must have been in Bali, and then we reconnected a year or 2 ago when I was living in Portugal. So the universe is always divinely bringing the right people into our space at all times. And Vlada, I just so deeply grateful to know you, to have you as a friend, and for all the beautiful work that you do with your retreats and your healings and your teachings. You are an incredible teacher, and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here and for your love and for your wisdom. Thank you.
Well, since we're doing thank yous, I definitely want us to do a big thank you for Jennifer Hill. In fact, I'm going to go to gallery view for a moment. I just want to invite everybody to twinkle her for just the amazing weekend she created. Thank you so much, Jennifer. In my entire 2.5 years of doing these shows, this is the least involved I've been in because I was moving, and you just took over and created a phenomenal 3 shows. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
It's my pleasure, my friend. I am so grateful and honored that our mutual friend, shout out to Teresa Collins, who invited me to co-host with both of you a few months ago in February, connected us. And it's just such a pleasure to get to collaborate in this space. And I love, as I was telling everybody offline before we went live, my dream is I just want to gift all of these wonderful people I know to the world. I want to gift you and Vlada and Haley and Kimberly and Shannon, because like what a magical gift to be able to have these people and to know them as friends and to have them as resources. And so any opportunity I have to sing the praises of all the wonderful people I know, I'm going to jump at it, because I truly believe I just am so thankful for all the people in my life, and yourself included, Scott. I'm so happy that the universe brought us together and gave us this opportunity to co-collaborate.
Yeah, likewise. I have that same experience every weekend. All the guests on the shows, I go, oh my God, such beautiful souls. And I say this frequently, but I want to say it again. They're the people that you see on camera, but everyone who's hearing our voices, everyone who's watching, whether you're watching in our Zoom room or watching on Facebook or watching the recording, you are equally precious. We are all imaginal cells coming together, creating the butterfly of the new paradigm, of the new world. And everybody is equally valuable, equally important. So if you're hearing my voice right now, know your value, know your preciousness, and thank you for joining us on the Awakening World and being a big part of this incredible awakening world taking place that we all are experiencing in our own unique ways. So thank you. And we are going to close with some music from the house musician of the Awakening World of the Global Peace Tribe, our beloved brother Omashar.
Wow. I'm so full from this weekend, and especially this morning. And the balm to my heart is just seeing all of our radiant souls shining through the eyes of everybody in the gallery and everybody who's tuning in. I just feel so alive. And so aligned. I need to go out and ground after this. I have a song here called Another Dawn, and it's about every day you wake up, you come as an innocent child into the world, and it's like my Groundhog Day song. It's you have a chance to recreate your life every single day, and to bring the alignment of your soul and recognize the divinity in everything. And so it's a little bit different. Normally my songs are just either the divine talking to me or me talking to the divine. But this song came, and here we go. Let's just get into it. And you can move around a little bit. It's slightly moving. All right, I'm getting nervous. Here we go. Another dawn, another day. Innocent child coming your way. I've been wondering about my life. Oh yeah. Wondering about my state of mind. But then I heard, who is it for? If not for yourself, how do you feel? And why do you cry, 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 cry? Shooby-doo-wop. The sun is warming up my mind. Ocean breeze blows me away. And yet still, I've been wondering about my life. Oh yeah. Wondering who will take my place. But then I heard, who for yourself. And how do you feel? And why do you cry, 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 cry? Who is it for? If not for yourself, how do you feel? And why do you cry, 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 cry? Who is it for? If not for yourself, how do you feel? So come on, let's fly. Come on, let's fly.
Wow. Going to gallery view, that was awesome, Omashar. Thank you
Always a
so much. Just wonderful. And a reminder, I loved everybody's dancing and moving. Son, you were cracking me up. And this is where we can get all things Omashar. Is his website. It's his name, Omashar, O-M-A-S.
There's a little glitch there. I've been trying to fix it myself, and I don't know HTML, but you can click mailing list and go straight to my mailing list. And then, yeah, there it is.
So let's everybody go to the mailing list and fill it in so that we can, and of course you're going to see Omashar on a regular basis here, really pretty much every show, every Awakening World. It's beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I want to say a big thank you to those of you watching. And based on the comments, I know people are really loving this weekend shows. A great way to help us is to share it out. Post it on your Facebook page. Pick one of the shows from this weekend that you really liked and post it. And invite your friends to come in. Because you know what? Every weekend, honestly, after every show, I go, that was a really great show. And we've got good ones planned next weekend again. We're going to be collaborating with Lloyd Bard and the Relax Expansion Fest. And we've got some amazing musical artists. Donna DeLore is going to be with us. And we're going to be talking. We're not only going to have the artists playing music, we're talking with them. So it's going to be a chance to really get more dropped in to a lot of wonderful people. Jamishka, who was on last week, we're going to have him right on again. And we've got about 8 different musical artists who will be with us next weekend. So it's going to be a really, really fun show and very musical. So anyway, thank you everybody for watching. Thank you again, Jennifer. Thank you all of your beautiful guests. And last thought, remember that since it is the Sacred Sunday show, we're multi-denominational. We appreciate all pathways back home to ourself. And remember that we can make any moment sacred just by choosing to see the divinity in ourselves and in each other. Let's all do that this week. God's blessings, everybody. See you next weekend. Go to gallery view for the little final waves and all of that. Take care, everybody.